Hello and welcome to Creative Rehab, episode 11. And I am Rhianna Essex.
And I'm Beckie Bachelor.
Hello, Beckie Bachelor.
Oh, hello, Rhianna.
Oh, hello. I don't feel weird saying that to you because usually we just go, ooh. I think we should start it of, ooh, gooey.
Like our phone calls.
Oh, dear. Do you know what?
What?
It's nearly blooming Christmas.
Oh, stop.
I
Not quite.
think the day that we are recording, so this is a Wednesday, I think it's 6 weeks until Christmas.
Okay. So
Ding, 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 ring the bells. I am in full Christmas mode though. The shop, like, I feel like it's kicked in. That kind of fireworks night.
Yeah.
Done.
It's the day
and
after,
now
I'm
I'm
6th of November. It's go.
I've never really had that though. I feel like I've
Have you
always
not?
been a bit of a December Christmaser. But
Well,
working in
it's
retail.
Yeah. I
yeah.
used to work at the toy shop and it was always the day after bonfire night. The decks would go up and off it would all go.
And I think because I'm absorbing everyone else's Christmas, what's quite nice is I've got some really lovely, a lady who did my signage in the workroom called Flo. She's got a business called O Pickle, and she makes kind of like acrylic and wooden signs, but she does Christmas ones. And you can gauge when someone comes in the shop if this is too early for Christmas for them. And the kind of spinny display is like right beside me at the counter. So what I've started to do is go, Happy Christmas. And if someone goes, oh my God, Happy Christmas. If they don't, on this stand is this really beautiful sign that says Bar Humbug. So I just pick it up and go and hold it up to them and just go, Bar Humbug. You're not ready for Christmas. But I switched on the music this week. Just some light kind of,
Gentle.
undertones of instrumental Christmas. And I'm excited. I think we're both feeling a bit festive, aren't we?
We are.
You're in full bow season.
I am. Similarly, I'm sort of putting posts up on Instagram that are Christmas related, but I'm always a bit nervous because I'm obviously not in the retail world as such, although I am, I guess, with bows. But so I sort of doing a light touch. So the music I'm using isn't necessary. I mean, obviously it was for the elves bit, but the other stuff I'm not. I'm just using sort of normal music because I'm trying to sort of do that in-betweeny bit between now and the beginning of December, and then we can go full.
And then you're going full steam ahead.
Yes. And then I've just been sort of finishing off, and now I'm finishing off my designs and then venturing into full making mode, which is where I'm at now.
Wow.
So yes, and I'm doing stockings this year as well.
I think I need some new stockings because I feel like it's one of those, we're going to chat about traditions and lots of other things, aren't we, over the next couple of weeks, but I predominantly have the same things every year. So like if the first Christmas they would have had a stocking, but when your style changes, it's really hard to know whether to change your style or keep the kind of sentiment of their first stocking.
Yeah.
What would you do? Because the stockings that I have now, they've had since their first Christmas, but I don't really like them.
Well, change them. It doesn't matter.
I know, but I feel the sentiment of them having the same one every year.
So do you want to make something? Or
I think I want them to be the same. So they're not the same. I think that's what bothers me, which ordinarily, as people will well know now, I am not, chaos is everything in my life. I like a mismatch of everything, but they're kind of different shapes and different styles. But maybe I should make 3 because of the dog as well. 3 new stockings and the
take
sentiment,
elements. Take elements from so even if have they got their names on or anything like that?
See, one's got a name, one's got an initial.
And you want them both to have the same?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. So I would, if the bells on or anything like that, is there something you can take off of them and put on to the new stockings so it will be similar? And there'll be elements of it, but it will just be a new stocking and you could put their names across the top.
Yeah, because then the sentiment of that stocking is still going, but I can make something new. Yeah.
So years ago, I made stockings from felt, and one for each of them, and then I hand embroidered all these things on them. They're absolutely beautiful. And then some mice got into the loft, and
No.
massive holes. I was absolutely heartbroken. So,
Oh
and it was,
no.
yeah, it was really sad. So I did something similar. So I took the bells off and I took things off. I remade them in a slightly less kind of garish way, dare I say. And now I have plastic boxes for all my Christmas decorations because, you know, we live in the countryside. Mice
Yeah.
find their way in. There's one up there at the moment. Can hear it
Yeah. Yes.
at night. Anyway, so yes, I just think it's the most lovely thing to do. I'm such a fan of Christmas traditions, which is something that so we were going to sort of talk about this episode, isn't it? Is what we've got coming up
Yeah.
in terms of the next few weeks lead up to Christmas and what the sort of things we're going to do, and talk about Christmas traditions and being creative, really.
Yeah,
Is it
absolutely. And I think that what would be nice is if we could have some other people's traditions.
Yes.
So we'll put some stuff on the Creative Rehab Instagram, maybe some stories that you can get a bit interactive with.
Yeah.
And you can tell us what your family traditions are. And because I find it fascinating, I find it really interesting. And sometimes I like to adopt them. You know, when you go, oh, that's a really good one. I think I'll have that one from.
Oh God, most of mine have come from what I've heard other people are doing.
Yeah.
There's very few that we had when I was a child, other than the general run of the things on Christmas Day is pretty similar.
Is it? See, mine is very different to when I had it when I was a child. Very different. So I'm still very lovely, but my childhood Christmases were split. So my my grandma, my Uma, is German, or was German. So she passed away just after Martha was born. So predominantly you celebrate Christmas on Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve.
So my whole childhood with my dad's side of the family, we had Christmas on Christmas Eve. So I was honestly the coolest kid at school because I got to open presents on Christmas Eve. Not all of them. Obviously, Father Christmas hadn't come. So Father Christmas still came Christmas Eve for Christmas morning. But my presents from that side of the family, and actually they opened all of their family presents. And there were 8 of us plus extended, like, you know, when my cousins got older and boyfriends and things. And we probably stopped doing that about 4 years ago, 5 years ago. I don't think Martha has been to one. But I loved it. And we don't do that now in my household, but what we do have is a Christmas Eve box. So that's what we've adopted as
there's a gift
part of it. There's a lot of stuff in the Christmas Eve box because I love that magic on Christmas Eve. So they always get pajamas, they always get slippers, a pair of socks, a new cup, like for hot chocolate and things, maybe a book and a game or something that we can play on Christmas Eve. So yeah, and I made those Christmas Eve boxes, which again are a bit worn because they've been used a few times.
A little glow up.
Yes. I don't know when I'm going to find the time to do any of this, but yeah, let's make some stockings and glow up the Christmas Eve boxes. But yeah, I just hold that really fondly that it's, we always had a Chinese to eat on Christmas Eve. And yeah, just, you know, it was amazing. You get to open presents on Christmas Eve. That's every kid's dream, isn't it? To be able to be that one that gets them out like early. So yeah, I loved that. But we've got a few more traditions, but maybe we'll do a whole episode of other people's traditions. But you've got a lovely tradition, haven't you? That is a pre-Christmas.
So as I've got older, my Christmas very much focuses around food. Lots and lots of food, and yes. So on the, I want to say, it doesn't really matter when, but there is an official day which is called Stir Up Sunday, and the idea is that you either make your Christmas pudding or your Christmas cake or both, which is what I'm doing, and I'm doing that this Sunday, the 17th.
So, Stir Up Sunday is an actual like It's not something you've made. It's
No.
an
It's a
official
thing.
kind of
It's
thing.
a thing. Could be American, I
Okay.
think. So it was an American friend that told me about it. So that's where this has come from. And anyway, so yes, so I choose and decide all my recipes, which I will show you in a moment. My books I have here, and I do an amalgamation of a few different recipes. And then I make sure I've got everything. I start soaking my fruit, which I'm going to be doing today. So you do it a few days in advance. And on Sunday, myself and a friend, or a couple of friends, as has been the case previously, come over and we all make our mixture. We put all the ingredients in a bowl and we give it a good old stir. And whoever's in the household has to give the mixture a stir and make a wish.
Oh, I love that.
And obviously my household's going to be slightly less this year.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe we could do a virtual
Yeah.
virtual
Oh,
wish.
absolutely.
So it's really fun. And then we put them in the oven, and which for a long time.
So you cook them. You cook all of them on Sunday.
Yes. Yeah. Cook them on Sunday. And then what happens is it gives you a good few weeks, so 5-6 weeks, to be able to feed it. And you feed it with whatever alcohol, or actually doesn't have to be alcohol. It can be apple juice if you don't drink alcohol, but you feed it to sort of make sure it's consistently moist. And I feed mine with sherry. My mother's favourite tipple.
Are you making Christmas cake?
Yes, Christmas cake. And yeah, so proper full-on fruit cake. So I've got my books here. So I love, there's a really good Jamie Oliver recipe.
Okay.
For this is his Christmas cookbook, Jamie Oliver Christmas cookbook. And can I say, all of these books I've got here, I've found in charity shops.
Brilliant.
So when I go charity shop shopping in bookshops, I always go to the recipe book section. I'm obsessed with recipe books, and always try and find a really good Christmas cookbook. And in actual fact, I've probably got 10 purely
just Christmas ones.
Just Christmas ones. And most of them have been from charity shops. So his Christmas cake is incredible. And he uses lots of nuts in his. So I tend to do that. And then, but the main bulk and his Christmas pudding, look at that.
Oh,
so I'm just showing Rhianna a picture of his flaming Christmas pudding, which again is a little bit, he uses Maduka date. I can't say it.
Medjool dates.
Medjool dates. Medjool.
Beautiful.
Medjool dates and apricots in his, for example, and a rosemary and all sorts of delicious things.
So do you know
really nice.
that you are talking to probably the top tier of Christmas cake people? So is my
your
favorite cake, number one. So much so that my lovely mother-in-law, so how old am I? 41. So I was 40 last year. My birthday's in July. My lovely mother-in-law makes a Christmas cake every year, and I literally eat half of it. And she made me a Christmas cake for my 40th birthday in July. Because I love marzipan. Oh,
okay.
Love marzipan. And I love everything about Christmas cake. So if you need a taster,
okay.
And also, if I'm honest, I have got a bit of FOMO for Sunday. So if whilst you're all cooking on Sunday, you see my little head just pop up at the Christmas window and give you a little wave, I'll be like, do you want me to test anything? Try anything? I could definitely do that. I love that. So how many of you do it?
So there have been 4 of us in the past. I think just this year it's just me and B.
Okay.
So just the 2 of us, and then we're having a Sunday roast afterwards, which should be fun. But yeah, it's just really nice thing to do. And then every few days, or maybe once a week initially, and then as I get closer, I go a little bit mad. I feed it. So I wrap it all up in tin foil. Baking paper first, then tin foil, put it in a tin so it's nice and airtight, and then I unwrap it and I put a skewer in the top, and then put 2 to to 2 teaspoons of sherry over the top and feed it once a week until Christmas.
So does your
delicious.
other stir up friends take their cake home on Sunday and feed their own?
Correct.
Or so you don't have the job of feeding all this cake?
No.
Okay.
No. They
so it's
feed
the
their
stirring up, the making of the actual cake.
Yes,
you all stir it. What do you listen to?
Christmas music, obviously. And, my favourite is Annie Lennox, Christmas Cornucopia. So, yes, that's definitely up there.
Do you have a little tipple?
Obviously. Yeah, I mean, you put a little bit of sherry in, so a little bit of them, a little bit of the cake, a little bit for me.
What a great tradition to have.
It's really, really good fun. And it's it starts it all off for me. Starts Christmas off.
I feel like that's the beginning.
Yeah. And actually a bit before that, I get out all of my Christmas books and I do what I've done here, which is, you hear that?
For those of you listening, Beckie has got the most organised cookbooks I have ever seen. They have got tabs coming out of them, colour-coded, beautiful tabs.
I think they were like one of my daughter's kind of birthday gifts that got rejected, maybe. And they're these just little kiddie tabs that you stick in a book. And I go through and decide kind of what I want to make. And I start cooking and I do Christmas cooking probably from the beginning of December. So I've got the most delicious recipes for mince pies where you, again, it's a Mary Berry recipe where you grate tangerine into the pastry. Oh, it's just insane.
And we love a mince pie.
And then it's with, you crumble on top marzipan.
Hello.
Yeah, it's.
Do you marzipan your Christmas cake?
Yes, obviously, absolutely.
And what icing do you ice it with?
So I prefer fondant. Rather than, I know royal icing is the tradition.
I love royal icing.
The crispy royal icing.
I have done it makes my tongue tingle.
Does it?
Yeah. Do you get that though? If you eat something sweet, your tongue, like you get that tingle?
No.
Oh, see, my eldest does.
Okay.
And it's like, it's not horrible. It's just this joyous, like, I think it's the sugar rush, but it makes my tongue like fizz if I eat something really, really sweet. And royal icing does that for me. I like the crisp of it. I like that it kind of breaks off a bit.
As the knife goes through. It's like really, really.
And I like
bread,
it to be like decorated in peaks, so you get like a shard of. Oh, frosting. Yes.
And I've also got. I should have gone and got them and shown you. I've got my in the cupboard all of my Christmas toppers. So I've got trees, I've got reindeers, I've got all sorts of different things, which again I've collected over the years, and I just love it. I find, as I said, that's sort of for me the traditions that I think I've injected. One other one, whilst we're on the subject of cooking, which is one of my favorite things. So we're going back to talking about Christmas morning and what you do. So my other favorite cookbook, which I don't think I've got here, and the thing probably I make the most things from is, oh my God, her name's gone right out of my head.
Let's play the game. Give me a clue.
So I will give you a clue and you'll get it in an
Nigella.
instant. Yes. Jesus. I didn't even say anything. How did you do that? I was gonna, anyway.
I know how you could have described it. That's why I jumped in very quickly. I was like, I know she's thinking of how to describe her, so I know who she's talking about. It's Nigella.
Yes, it's her, yeah.
With her microwave or whatever it was called. Microwavey. How did she say it?
I don't
microwave.
know. Oh yeah.
Put it in the microwave.
Anyway, her Christmas, and again, you can find it in charity shops, unbelievably. Her Christmas cookbook is the best of the best. Literally, there's almost nothing I haven't made from that. And so and on Christmas morning, we wake up. So going back actually the night before Christmas Eve, talking about Christmas Eve. So I did something when they were really little that, again, somebody gave me the idea of, and we still do it now. So to get them to go to sleep, if they've been good, so we used to go to church and go to the nativity service. And if they've been good and a really good sign, Santa would send a helper early and put a pair of brand new fresh pajamas under their pillow. all wrapped up,
Oh.
but only if they'd been good. And that was a really good sign. And that meant you had to go to bed and go to sleep like that. Great thing was, of course, not only did that do the trick, but the following morning, Christmas morning, they woke up and were opening their presents with a lovely clean pair of pajamas on. So
That
great
is
for the photos.
genius.
So honestly,
I love that
that's
idea,
still
but
the
the
case.
only thing I can think of, because obviously we know that you have twins.
Yes.
Did either of them ever not get a pair of pajamas?
No,
Oh,
they
well,
didn't.
that's good, because
except 1 year, the parent, me, had a little bit too much to drink Christmas Eve, and the Santa didn't quite get the message in time. His elf was delayed.
Was it?
Really
Maybe it was COVID.
Yeah, maybe
everything went wrong then.
Anyway, yeah, it didn't quite go to plan 1 year, but it was very quickly resolved. Anyway, so yes, so that still happens. If they've been good, they might find, a clean pair of pajamas, clean new pair of.
So will that maybe happen this year? Is it a continuous? Yeah.
Well, if they've been good,
how will you know as well? Because they've not been with you all this year, have they? Because they're at university. So hopefully Santa's watching.
A bit like how Santa watches. I also know if they've not been good.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. I think pajamas, like there's no other time of year where a fresh pair of Christmas pajamas or, is just, I love it. Because I also do Christmas Eve boxes for my husband, and I used to do it for myself, but actually I think he's taken over the role of, he does my Christmas Eve box, which is lovely, but I had no problem being a control freak doing my own. I bought myself a beautiful Emma Bridgewater mug every year, nice. Which is why I've got about 40 in the cupboard, and a nice pair of pajamas. But I think as the girls have got a bit older, they've wanted to kind of make me one, and I love that, because I love
yeah.
And for me, waking up with fresh pajamas on, still having a 5-year-old that, well, what time do you think that Christmas morning starts?
God knows. Well, if it makes you feel any better, it's the one day a year that my kids still wake up at that time. Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's just so magical, isn't it?
And so what I was going to say was, so we wake up in the morning, we still have to set a time that we're not going to open anything until set a time. Would you believe they're 18? And then whilst they open their stock, I then wake up, I run downstairs, and I put it all together the night before, and I make Christmas morning muffins. Again, this is a tradition that I've taken from a friend of mine, and I just love it. And so I make all the ingredients the night before, and then I just pop them in the oven, and then everybody gets up, gets everything in place, and then they come out of the oven and we eat them, because you don't really want a big breakfast if you're going to have a big lunch at lunchtime, and we eat those whilst we open our stocking presents from Santa. So yeah, it's lovely.
Oh, it's giving me all the feels. I love that. And I would really love to know other people's like Christmas morning traditions, but I'm interested in traditions, but we basically want to know about food. Yes. What do you eat at Christmas? What do you make at Christmas? Because one of the things that we will be doing before Christmas on a podcast is I don't know if I've said it on here or whether it was just you and I having a conversation, but I'm really keen to make some gifts again this year. I've done it before, but I've never really made food items like chutneys or jams or anything like that. So I know that we're going to have a chat about that with your cookbook and things. But if anyone else has got any ideas that are things that you've put in hampers for presents for family or friends or anything like that, then I'm going to try and get a little bit creative, because I've got so much time. It's not the busiest year in retail at all. Like, it's not, honestly, this isn't the golden quarter of where everything happens. I'm going to make stockings, Christmas Eve boxes, and hampers for everybody. Ho, ho, ho.
Similarly, yes, I'm a little bit frantic, but equally, I'm really determined to make lots of things this year. I do make quite a bit every year, but mainly for the people that know that they will appreciate it, because I know some people it's not their bag. You know, they sort of look at something homemade and think, oh, you've tried to save money. Well,
Yeah.
no,
And actually, I think I don't know if it's when you get older or when you just get a little bit wiser, the recipient, it's the joy of making and giving for me.
Absolutely.
I don't really care if they re-gift it or put it in the bin, if I'm honest with you, because it's more about me having fun making it and giving it. No, I just think, you know who you're gifting to.
Yes,
They're gonna,
you're completely right.
Yeah, I think
actually,
they are.
you're completely right. I think my parents, or my mum, loves anything that I make.
Yeah.
Absolutely loves it. It sort of brings her to tears. We have a sort of standing joke in our family that, I just bring out the homemade something and she's like, oh, and my brother just rolls his eyes.
She's done it again.
Jeez.
Yeah,
but anyway,
I love that. So what are we gonna? So we've got 6 weeks until Christmas. So this is episode 11. So I think we've got 3 / maybe 4 and more episodes to come out before Christmas.
Yes.
So what are we going to? Should we give a little sneak peek into some of the things that we're going to be doing?
So we're going to have, which is quite exciting, and I can't begin to explain to you, the audience listening, the complications that have arisen from doing this, but we are determined to make it happen. So we are going to be doing a podcast and doing a craft and something creative live whilst we record. Mm-hmm. We've practiced it. We've identified what it is
at its best.
Absolutely. But to sort of the technical stuff that's required for us to be in the same room to do that, which is what we're trying to do, is been quite challenging. So anyway,
we're going to do it. So we're going to do a making one.
We're doing a making one.
But before we move on from that, could you just tell, Beckie has put an amazing reel out this week about how to make these beautiful little bows, which they are absolutely beautiful. And I was with her whilst we were making them. It's on Creative Rehab, also on the Making Bee, and they're beautiful for gifts and things. But of course, it wouldn't be us if we just stopped there. And unfortunately, we didn't get this on camera, but it was a cross your leg moment of laughing for both of us. Would you like to explain? I had the idea, let's try and make these a little bit bigger. Because how you do it is you wrap the ribbon around your fingers, basically, and you make this bow. But go and look at the video. So then what happened, Beckie Batchelor?
So then Rhianna said, oh, no, I had a wider, bigger bit of ribbon. So I could see Rhianna's little brain whirring around. She said, oh, let's make a bigger one. So she thrusts her arms out in front of me. So I'm trying to basically use her arms like I was previously using my fingers to wrap the ribbon round in like a figure of 8, if you imagine. Anyway, we were sort of trying to get the distance right, which took a while. And then it was sort of really required her to have her arms got quite close together. So I did it, tied it round, really pleased with myself. But then, of course, she couldn't get her arms out. And basically, I tied her up.
I couldn't move.
I had to be there, really.
We couldn't get the bow off, and also I couldn't undo the bow. So there I was, just stood with this, just in handcuffs in her dining room. But listen, we're doing all of this so that it's nice and professional when it comes out to you. Yeah. So we're definitely going to do a make one, which is really, it's going to be really cool because it's going to be sustainable, really low cost. Everybody can do. We appreciate that. Yeah, we have a lot of stuff, and we do appreciate that we might be able to just pop to, either of our studios and grab a piece of equipment, but we're doing this as can do it with anybody. Everyone will have all of this stuff or alternatives at home. So we're going to do a making one. We're going to do an episode on a little bit more on traditions, because obviously there is a lot more to go into, and we'll put some things up on stories so that you guys can get interactive with us and tell us about your Christmas traditions and things like that. And then the other parts are wrapping. So we've done, you've got a really good tip, haven't you, for
gift wrapping?
Yeah.
Is that the one with the ribbon underneath?
And the bags. The bags. Yeah. You know what? I can't say it now because then I'll give it away for the next episode. But there'll be something about wrapping and bags.
Oh, yes.
Got it?
I'm there.
Yes.
Well, actually, yes. That's probably
you want to just do it now?
Yes, because otherwise, you've got to do it. So if you're Christmas shopping, and I feel like we've talked about this before. But anyway,
it was probably on a recording that didn't happen last
Christmas.
That didn't
go out. Yeah, no. You're probably right. Oh, Jesus. Anyway, if you start your Christmas shopping and I'm just such a fan of doing anything I can to sort of help me and my crazy brain be slightly less or slightly more organized and slightly less frantic as you get nearer to Christmas, where it seems like everything happens at once. So I buy one of those, what would you call them? I think they're
I'd
called
like a
laundry
laundry
bags,
bag.
but
Yeah.
yeah,
Like
but
a
you
bit
can
like an
buy really
IKEA
pretty
bag, aren't
ones.
they?
Yeah,
Like a big
you
one.
could buy bigger, pretty ones with different colors and stuff. And I buy one for each child, and then I buy one for kind of everybody else, and then sort of Pete I use something separate for. And as I buy the gifts for each person, they go straight in those bags, and then I pull them out, wrap everything. Obviously, I have twins, so I have to make sure. I mean, everybody does, don't they? You do that thing where you pull them out and think, right, have I got an even amount of stuff, same amount of presents, yada, yada, yada. And then I wrap everything, and then I put them back in those bags and store them, and then obviously put them out under the tree as and when. And then they have those bags on the day, and then when they open their gifts, they put them back in the bags, so nothing gets lost or where's my funny socks or my scarf or whatever. So yeah,
I
it
love
just
that.
works really well. It's really easy.
Can I ask
So
a
yes,
random
that's my top
question
tip.
from what I've
Yeah.
taken from that? As I was listening,
Yes.
obviously.
Yeah. What does
Did
Pete have?
your no? Sorry, no. Did your parents, when you were
Yeah.
younger, so you've got a brother?
Yes.
Did your parents give you equal numbers of presents?
I think so. Oh, look at that face.
I find it fascinating because I don't do that
Okay.
for anything. I don't put
No.
a value on the presents, and I don't put the number on the presents. And my parents never did either. So it would never, I have never, ever, like in a, sometimes my brother and I are quite competitive for things like that anyway, but we never had it. My brother could have had 20 presents and I could have had 5. And my
That
girls
didn't
have
annoy you.
exactly, no, not at all. It's just because it was the way it was. My girls have never compared the amount of presents that they've got or the amount of things they've got in their stockings or anything.
No, my two haven't. It was just something that I
It's in you,
suppose,
isn't it? From
yeah, that
when
happened to
you
me.
are younger. Like I would, and I don't even, obviously there was a budget or, not from Father Christmas, but for other things. But if I wanted, I don't know, if I wanted a pair of Doc Martens for Christmas and my brother wanted 20 small presents, that would have been okay. But my parents would never set a value. So they would never have gone, right, I've spent £100 on him and £100 on her. It would have been whatever you kind of asked for,
Yeah.
you get. And that's what I do with, we're going off on a tangent here, but why I don't like giving cash as gifts for anything really, for birthday or for Christmas, because
I hate that.
I don't like putting a monetary value on the gift, because if I see something, it might cost 50 quid, but I know that person's going to love it, so I'll buy it. When you take that away, similar for Christmas, obviously, I absolutely understand that people have budgets. I'm not saying that I just spend an endless amount, but if I see something and I can afford it and I buy it for the girls, but I never ever get all of that out and go, right, she's got socks, she's got this, because my parents never did that.
That's really, so what's really interesting is actually I always, oh God, we really are going off on a tangent. That sort of thing doesn't bother me.
No.
I have this belief that my parents, I think everything evens itself out in the end. And that's what I say to my children on repeat, because outside of Christmas, there's always times where we've maybe sent one child on a school trip and the other one didn't have a school trip, or we've had to pay for one thing for one. And I just have to say on repeat, look, I get it because sometimes as they get older, it gets a bit more tricky and they're a bit more aware, and they do clock these things, or that's been my experience. And I just verbalize that and I just say, look, I get it. It might appear that we are financially contributing towards one child more than the other, but I promise you, it's not going unclocked and unnoticed, and it will even itself out. And if it doesn't, you must say to me, I don't feel like this is okay and this is fair, and we'll sit and have a conversation about it. But because it can be quite an issue
See,
within
I think
families,
maybe
and I've
mine,
seen that
yeah,
elsewhere.
because you've got twin. Not, I mean, even if you didn't have twins, you had close. My children aren't close in age, so
No, so
I've got
it's
like
there is a yeah,
six
that's
and a half,
true.
7 years apart.
Yeah, so
So
you
they've never
can do things
compared because
differently.
my eldest has always been so much older that she's not. She's kind of been able to go, well, I had that when I was her age. It's kind of like they're two very, very separate generations. But I just thought it was interesting because I think naturally that is something that a lot of people do, and it's not wrong. It's not right or wrong.
What's the difference in age between you and your brother?
Exactly 4 years and 3 days.
Yeah. See, again, my brother and I were very close in age. Interesting.
I mean, we're competitive about other things, but I don't ever remember going, oh, he got a bike and I got, I don't know, a doll.
No, I don't feel like that.
No. But then I do wonder whether my Christmas Eve tradition actually contributed to that, because I always felt like I got quite a lot more because it was, I got loads on Christmas Eve, and then we had, Father Christmas came and we had Father Christmas present, and
then you have presents from family.
Yeah,
and friends,
I don't know.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I love the bag idea, going back to that, and I need to order some because for me, I can still find gifts around my house that I don't know when I've bought it for, because it comes and then I go, need to put that away, shove it up there. Oh God, where was that?
Yeah.
And that stops all of that, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. And it what it does is, if those bags are in the place where you keep your gifts, so nobody can ogle at them, already, it's just simply a case of decanting it into the right one, and it just makes life so much easier. I can't tell you, especially if you have a slight muddly brain like mine,
and mine,
which forgets everything.
I love that. This is the start of Christmas. Can I just do a shameless plug?
Of course.
For myself. So,
of course.
Obviously I run Love Local and the Workroom, and this Christmas I have decided to let the community of Love Local help me decorate the shop.
What a lovely idea.
The window, Hannah Buck, the wonderful local artist and friend of mine, came yesterday, and she's done a really beautiful drawing or painting on the workroom window. But inside, I am opening up to the little crafters or the big ones that want to palm it off as their children made it. And what I'm asking people to do is just make some decorations, spend some time as a family or with your partner or on your own, paper chains, paper stars, hanging decorations, anything that you like to get creative. And if you bring it into Love Local, I will hang it up and display it in the shop. So we've got kind of a community decorated shop. It can be anything. I honestly, it can be a toilet roll with a face on it as an angel, and it will go pride of place next to something else that's made. So it starts from, I've already had someone bring something in already. So from now, which is the something of November.
Okay.
What's the date?
13th
of November. Yeah. So we're recording the Wednesday the 13th. This will come out on the 15th. Yeah. So you can bring it in, or you can give it to someone that is, in the shop or comes in the shop, and I will display it. And I want to cover the Workroom and Love Local in all handmade local decorations. So get your Pritt sticks out, your toilet rolls, whatever you want, and bring it in. And I'm really excited to see how it looks. I want it to just look,
take some pictures.
Absolutely. But yeah, if anyone wants to do that or have any inspiration, I'm adding some videos to the Love Local Instagram, and there's a little highlight of some ideas of things to make as well. So help me decorate Love Local.
Okay.
Thanks very much.
Right. I think we are there for this week.
That was done. Episode 11. And this will come out on Friday, the 15th of November. And then next week will be the first part of our Christmas series. Yes, it will. So Merry Christmas, everybody, on the 13th of November.
You can't
Ho,
say
ho,
that
ho. Yes, I can. And we will see you all next week.
yet. Okay.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.